Custom mechanical keyboards have only recently shaken up the gaming keyboard market in a huge way. Having the ability to build your own keyboard and have complete freedom of what parts go into it is a more personalized and creative way to set your setup apart from everyone else. The custom keyboard rabbit hole for how far you can go down into is no joke and can get quite expensive when choosing the right parts. At first, I was asking the same question majority of people would ask: why build your own keyboard? And quite frankly, I never considered building one for my own setup until now. This right here is my first custom mechanical gaming keyboard I recently just built. And today I'd like to talk about it and why you might just consider building your next keyboard for your next upgrade. Let's take a look. What you are seeing here is a fully custom build using the Tofu 60 aluminum case from KBD Fans, the DZ60 RGB V2 Hotswap PCB, a brass plate, Diebook stabilizers, Gateron Black Ink V2 switches, and a black blank keycap set from Enjoy PBT. Everything for the build is from KBD Fans and is generally the best place to buy parts if you are just starting out with mechanical keyboards. For as long as I've been gaming on PC using mouse and keyboard, I and mostly everyone has been using an off-the-shelf mechanical keyboard for their weapon of choice when it comes to gaming. Logitech, Razer, SteelSeries, or whatever company or brand you decide to go with, they all pretty much do the same thing, right? Full-size keyboard with RGB goodness, onboard media keys and macro keys, generic switches like Cherry MX or depending on what keyboard you get, and just overall a keyboard branded for gaming with the gamer in mind. Although it's completely and perfectly fine gaming on a full-size RGB keyboard, custom mechanical keyboards are one of the best ways to spice up not only your setup, but your gaming and typing experience overall. Let's first talk about the case, which is a 60% all blacked out aluminum case with the only branding being the KBD Fans logo located inside of the case. The connectivity of the keyboard is USB Type-C, where the port is on the left side like most custom keyboards out there. Overall, a super clean and minimal case that looks great on my desk with a small footprint as well. Next, I've gone with the DZ60 RGB V2 Hotswap PCB, which in my opinion is probably the most important and most time-saving portion of the build. My first concern about building a custom mechanical keyboard was soldering the switches. With custom keyboards, you would have to solder your switches into the PCB in order for it to function properly, which does require a soldering iron, patience, and most importantly time to solder each individual switch. But with the DZ60 RGB V2 Hotswap PCB, you won't have to worry about that as it's hot swappable. On the PCB itself, you will have Kale switches already pre-installed into the PCB that make the contacts of the switch pins work when inserted. This takes the hassle and pain of soldering each switch gone completely when installing switches for a hot swap PCB. This also means that if you wanted to try different switches later down the road, all you have to do is remove your old switches and replace them with your new ones. No desoldering required, which I find is super helpful and easy for beginners and a lifesaver overall. When looking at other custom keyboards where you have to solder and desolder switches, it's something you wouldn't want to do as it looks like a pain to do. I've also gone with a brass plate here to add a bit more stability and make my build feel overall more premium than just going with an aluminum plate for standard. Next, I've gone with the Gateron Black Ink V2 linear switches, which are super smooth, premium Gateron switches. The black ink's actuated around 60 grams and bottom out at around 70 grams, so overall a slightly heavier switch compared to others out there, but overall a decent weight that feels really nice in my opinion. I did lube each and every switch to make them smoother out of the box, which I followed the tutorial from Teha Types, using a small amount of Krytox 205G0 for the inner housing of the switch, spring, and stem, made the already smooth Gateron black inks even smoother after lubing them. It is time consuming to lube each and every switch, but it is definitely worth it in the end. I highly recommend you lube your switches for a smoother and more premium feel for your keyboard. Next, I got on with the Diebooks stabilizers for my build. When building a custom keyboard, the stabilizers are seen as the most important thing you can fine tune and get for your keyboard when it comes to the custom keyboard space. I did lube these as well with a light application of Crytox 205G0 for the inner housing of the stabilizers, as well as the end of the stabilizer wires. The last thing I did to eliminate the ping and sound of the stabilizers was use some KBD Fan sticker foam for the PCB, and as well performed the Holy Mod for each stabilizer. The Holy Mod is the process of adding a bit of padding to your stabilizers to make them super quiet and eliminate any rattling or pinging of the stabilizers when bottoming out. Again, a time-consuming process overall, but in the end, it's something that's definitely worth it. And lastly, let's talk about the keycap set, which a lot of people might find it an odd choice for a mechanical keyboard. The set here is from Enjoy PBT that are the black blank keycap set that I think, in my opinion, is super clean. The keycaps themselves, as you can see, have no legends and no print on them, and have a very nice texture to them. With no legends and no prints on them, you don't have to worry about the letters fading over time due to general use, or even misprints on the letters themselves. The one thing I also really enjoy about this set is the texture of the keycaps. It doesn't get that shine or smoothness over time when typing and gaming on these, which I did swap out my stock keycaps on my old keyboard, the HyperX Ale Origins Core TKL, just to see how they felt, and trust me, these look the same as when I got them. And personally, these keycaps are super clean and minimal in my opinion, and I did get some inspiration from others around the community as well. It's not for everyone, and I myself am still getting used to no text or legends, but in the end, I am satisfied with what I have made here. So this keyboard right here will run you about $350 US, which is actually considered low to mid-range for a custom mechanical keyboard. But the best part about this keyboard here is that you don't have to wait for group buys for the parts. I personally do not like group buys, and waiting around for parts that could take weeks or even months to show up at your door, which in my opinion is not for me. Sure, you can wait around for the right parts and build yourself the ultimate keyboard, but it's not for everyone. But overall, the build here for what you are getting for around that $350 mark is a very good deal compared to an off-the-shelf mechanical keyboard. So the question is, should you build your own mechanical keyboard? If you have the extra cash and time to spend on building your own keyboard, then it's a yes. But personally, in my opinion, a custom mechanical keyboard should be one of the last things you should upgrade for your setup. I would have focused my budget first towards a better fast refresh rate monitor, maybe even a better mouse, or if you're looking to build your next PC, I would recommend allocating the spare cash towards a better GPU, CPU, or components overall. And that's the next thing, right? A custom mechanical keyboard won't make you a pro gamer overnight, but instead will elevate your gaming experience by a whole lot. And personally, after building my first mechanical keyboard, I don't think I will ever be able to go back to a regular gaming keyboard with this one here. It just feels amazing. With everything said and done, if you want to maybe replicate something like I have done here or do something similar, I will have all the links down below for you to check out. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.